to our adversaries watching from Tehran, let this be a clear message. The United States military will go anywhere, at any time, to protect our own and complete the mission. We execute with precision. We control the skies. You see, we flew for 7 hours in daylight over Iran to get the first pilot. And we flew 7 hours in the middle of the night to get the second. And Iran did nothing about it. We fight with honor, and under President Trump's leadership, we win.
You sure about that, Predator PD? Does this look like execution by precision to any of you? Because to my eyes, it looks like an absolute shit show. Hi, my name is Suri Crow, and you're watching the MeidasTouch Network. This is the debris, the aftermath of an estimated $400 million waste of American taxpayer dollars that was left in a field near Isfahan, Iran. And what the Trump regime is claiming was the rescue of a downed airman. But the evidence isn't quite adding up. First, let me show you the nonstop trolling of yet another Iranian Lego video.
You talk big, drop bombs, act like you run the sky, but one little rescue when you see 130 die. Black Hawks hit hard, flames in the Persian sky, 100 million gone for one pilot, that's the price. You call us little Iran, but you bleeding equipment, special forces running, helicopters getting ahead. All this chaos for one man in the dirt, pathetic as military. We laughing at your hurt. One pilot, lost the C-130 in Black Hawk for one pilot. $100 million just to save one guy. World's strongest military. Look at you cry. Sacred defense. One pilot, 100 million. We're waiting for the boots on the ground. Please come back. Yeah.
That is quite a beat. I have to admit, I kind of bop along to some of these. One pilot, one guy, look at you cry. The Iranians are claiming that they basically shot down 2 C-130s, which then crashed in that field near Isfahan, along with 2 Black Hawk helicopters. And they're inferring that the Americans then blew up their own crashed aircraft with the surviving crew members left inside and then left with the rescued air crewmen. Hence, the dead Americans piled up next to the dead Epstein little girls left with Trump. Yeah, yikes. Not a good situation. Now, the Pentagon is saying that they did blow up their own aircraft because they're alleging that those C-130 heavies got stuck in the mud, which sounds very shady to me. And why would 2 C-130 heavies, these are big, fat aircraft, be involved in the covert rescue of one downed air crew? It doesn't add up. That's not the way these covert rescues ever go. Like, I have a lot of familiarity with the way Spec Ops rescues go. That's just not typically the way they go. I mean, I'm not 100% sure. You can see the images here. And then here is former CIA officer Larry C. Johnson explaining how he thinks this all went down.
Now, if you fly from Kuwait to this location in Isfahan, that's 250 miles. How the hell do you get back from there? Well, that explains why at least one of those C-130s was on the ground. They can carry a fuel bladder of gasoline or aviation fuel. They can refuel these aircraft. And then, but it's not clear if the other C-130 was there as well on that mission. It said that both got stuck in the sand, but some of the pictures that have come out and some of the video at least appears to show one of those in flame crashing into the desert. So I don't think we have an accurate count. What we do know is that in addition to losing the F-15, we lost an additional 2 Black Hawk helicopters. They're called Pave Hawks. We lost at least, got the 2 C-130s that were gone. Now we've got an additional 4 MH-6 Little Birds, and I think the reason they left them there, they didn't have enough fuel to get them back to safety. An A-10 Warthog went down. Fixed-wing aircraft. So when you total it up, you're looking at about $400 million worth of aircraft that got shot down yesterday, just ostensibly to save one person. And can't emphasize enough that this may very well have been in preparation. If this hadn't all fallen apart on Friday, during Friday, it's very likely we might have seen troops on the ground already trying to conduct a special operation against the nuclear facility at Natanz. Now that may be delayed. I think Trump, in his insanity, we had the movie about the madness of King George from the American Revolution. Well, we can update that part too with the madness of Donald Trump. I mean, he has literally, the liver has slipped off the sausage there or off the cracker. It's just no longer intact. But he's going to probably order a ground operation. And now it's up to the military chain of command to decide, are we going to follow this order? Is this a lawful order? Or are we going to resign in protest? Because anything else at this point is going to result in more American casualties.
And as for the Pentagon's version of how many American casualties there are so far, here again is Larry C. Johnson.
So when that thing exploded and crashed into the ground, and the video, and that's not AI generated, none of the crew got out. So there were deaths. The Pentagon is lying. They're covering it up.
But from what I understand, the C-130 was blown up by the U.S. forces in the rescue operation to ensure enemy forces don't take control of it.
That's the story the Pentagon's putting out. That's what you keep getting fed, frankly, all this bullshit from the Pentagon. They're liars. They lied about the KC-135 that went down some weeks ago. They claimed that it had crashed midair. It got taken out by a missile.
You're talking about the two KC-130, the shadow tankers that collided, but they also didn't lie about the casualties there. They said all pilots. They didn't lie that nothing got destroyed. That one they didn't lie. They had a convenient excuse for how they came up with a lie to explain how it came down. Oh, this was just an accident. These guys didn't die in combat. It was an accident. It was a sad accident. But to admit that the C-130 went down, and because when it goes down and crashes, nobody gets out, and therefore that wasn't a collision, mid-air collision. They couldn't present it as such.
Look, I can tell you that the government lies about all kinds of things that happen in war, but this regime is on another level. We cannot trust a thing that they are telling us. When Hegseth is saying this,
we execute with precision. We control the skies. You see, we flew for 7 hours in daylight over Iran to get the first pilot. And we flew 7 hours in the middle of the night to get the second. And Iran did nothing about it.
You can bet on the exact opposite of things that actually happened. Here is Iranian state media showing what appears to be the charred remains of an American body in one of those aircraft frames.
لاشه‌های هلیکوپترها و هواپیماهای آمریکایی دیدیم. یک تصویر خیلی توجه ما رو جلب کرد که همین هست. دقایق پیش هواپیمای کل سپاه پاسداران این تصویر در اختیار خبرگزاری صدا و سیما قرار داد. لاشه و جسد این لاشه یکی از هواگردها حالا مشخصاً
But the consensus seems to be that Trump ordered ground troops in to snatch uranium at Natanz, and that the mission fell completely apart when Iranians began firing at the Americans from the ground. So much for their air defenses being completely obliterated. That's yet another lie. So then Trump and Hegseth, it seems, began lying about all that aircraft being involved in the rescue of the lone air crewmen whom we haven't heard hide nor hair of so far. One person on Threads says that he is visiting his Iranian friend in Singapore right now, and that Iranians are reporting that the number of American casualties is way higher than the reported number of 13, which is what we are hearing from the Pentagon. Look, I only deal in facts as a reporter, and I don't know. This is the tragedy of dealing with a White House that lies to us constantly about everything. We cannot trust them. We cannot trust them for the weather forecast. Literally, the weather forecast, because they have gutted weather forecasting equipment too. We can't trust them because they don't believe in climate change. They have gutted the National Weather Service. I've done reports on that. So if the number of American troops killed in that botched mission is higher, eventually it's going to come out, even if they are covering it up. And as for the devastating losses of military intelligence and experience at the Pentagon, I believe, and this is my opinion, but some of which is based on fact, that when these 4-stars push back on the illegal and insane schemes that they are being told to carry out by Trump and Hegseth, they are promptly fired by Hegseth. I know that was the case with Admiral Halsey with those extrajudicial killings down in the Caribbean. The admiral who had just been recently placed in that command was like, these are war crimes, and Hegseth fired him. And it appears that that may be the case with several of these 4-stars. And Hegseth is like, I don't want to hear it. If you're not going to go along with my war criming, you're out of here. And it's terribly frightening, because at a certain point, who is going to be left to protect the troops and to protect innocent civilians who are the targets of these war crimes? It's a hell of a mess. We have madmen running America right now, and it's honestly, it's a shameful time to be an American. It really is. So thanks for watching. Please join me and follow me on my socials, which are always attached below. My Substack, where I'm having, again, really interesting conversations with truly progressive candidates who want to get into Congress and change what we have going on right now. And I just started a brand new YouTube channel, and I'll have new content there as well. So thank you. And as always, be fierce and peace.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.